Okay, to kick off our second segment of the NFL, we have to start off with the Dan Snyder fiasco.
I mean,
Oh,
yet again, the worst owner in professional sports can't
I
keep his
believe there's
name.
still Snyder suckers, bro. In our fan base, there's still Snyder suckers.
Though he must have paid him.
Crazy.
He must have paid him. That's the only way. That's something he
Bro,
would
I
do
remember.
too. Buy some fans to like always support him.
Yeah, like, I mean, yeah. Let's be honest. He's probably a little bit uh, ego gets a little hurt.
I mean, he bought the two biggest radio shows in DC, so you can control the narrative coming out about him. I mean, I wouldn't be surprised at all.
He got 106.7 The Fan in his pocket.
I think so. I mean, he can do whatever he wants. He can tell him. I mean, and the thing is, if people are saying that this suspension might change him and change his ways, it's not. There's a reason his wife was promoted like a day or two before he got suspended. He knew it was gonna happen.
He has his wife as a puppet, and he has that $10 million, which is like
Pocket change.
pennies.
It's
Like,
pocket
yeah,
change.
pocket change.
If you're gonna find a billionaire, what is 10 million to him? Like, what is 10 million? It's nothing. And his wife is gonna do exactly what he wants, so it's not like it's gonna matter.
Yeah. It's really, like he still has that whole organization in his pockets, but you have to ask a question like, this has been going on in the Washington sports franchise, and this is a big thing. So this is NFL news right here. Like, how can you let this type of behavior, this type of culture happen to your watch, and you're saying that, oh, I didn't even see this, oh, I have no idea this was happening.
There's
It's
got to
a
be
lie,
a
man.
point to where the Roger Goodell is like, you have to sell the team. There's got to be a point. And what is that point?
Like that point, well, first of all, in order for you to be forced to sell, you're gonna have all of the owners come together, vote you out, majority vote you out, which is probably never gonna happen. These owners are probably buddy with each other, make each other a lot of money. So I doubt they're ever gonna do that. 'Cause it's all about the bottom line.
I think the only way or one of the only ways that Snyder would be forced to sell would be if Jeff Bezos would be like, hey, if he goes, I'm buying it. And the NFL, everyone knows.
On tape for him to get out.
They
Bezos
would.
is not happening, bro. You're just gonna have to cut a video of him, like a literal video, with saying the N-word. That's the only way he's gonna get kicked out. The only way. He has been mismanaging this team, and I'm saying this right now. All sports, you have to have a way of firing an owner for literally being incompetent to manage a team. There has to be a thing. It's not fair for fans.
I mean, Donald Sterling got fired. He got kicked out.
He had to be, I don't know if it was set up, but he had to like have a whole tape of him being racist and just hating minorities.
That is true. And saying he didn't want black
Like,
players
a
on his team.
long audio tape too.
Yeah, and he said he didn't want black players on his team. So
Wow.
that's kind of crazy considering Chris Paul was the best player on that team, but whatever. But I think in order for Snyder to sell, I think you might be right, but Jeff Bezos, he's the richest man on earth. If he's invested in your league, it's not going to die anytime soon. And it's, I don't want to say premier franchise. It used to be premier franchise, but it's not like in the middle of nowhere. It's not Jacksonville. It's Washington,
Yeah.
D.C. It's a good market. I mean, our fan base is kind of dead now because everyone's getting driven away because of Snyder, but we can bring them back.
Yeah, we still have loyal fan bases, a big fan base is also global.
Yeah, but also like
we have
there's
a lot of people out there.
yeah, but
Our market still rooting for us.
just
We have a legacy.
we could definitely get much
understand.
more people to come back to the team if we were able to get a new ownership and get together. And with Jeff Bezos, if he were to own the team, he's not going to be like Snyder and be involved in every decision. I think he would be actually let the GM do their job because he's got so many other ventures. He's got Amazon, he's got Blue Origin. He doesn't care about the football team. He just buys the side venture. He might go to a game or
He has the
two.
Washington Post. Like he has our local.
Yeah, he's got that. I mean, he
news.
he probably wouldn't care or have the time to be invested into every single thing. He would actually let the GM do their job.
And yeah, but you have to realize a little bit of Snyder's downfall. He was too off with being on the neck of Bruce Allen and Vinny Serrato. So, I mean, he didn't fire them quick enough. Let them do what they're doing for too long. And we have to realize, Bezos, when you're rich, I don't know what it is. I mean, obviously you have access to world class health care, right? But when you're rich, you don't die. You have like a couple decades added to you.
I mean,
So
there's
this
Steve
man's not dying
Jobs.
anytime soon.
There's Steve Jobs.
Steve Jobs, he had like cancer.
I think, what did he have? Oh,
Cancer.
breaking news. We did just do the NBA segment, but Giannis will play in Game 1.
That's big.
That
So,
is huge.
Yeah, I thought he was gonna play. I still that actually helps me. My Suns prediction. I'm more confident in that Suns prediction now. The that storyline being produced. So
I'm less confident. I'm changing my prediction. Anyone who's listening, this is my real prediction right here. Barring Giannis getting hurt like Anthony Davis, and being out within 5 minutes or something like that, and also him being at least 80% of himself, I will take the Bucks in 6.
I don't want to be a pessimist, but I feel like this is gonna have bad implications. I don't want him to come in then have to go off.
I mean, that's what I'm saying. I'm making that caveat to where if he has to exit like Anthony Davis, unfortunately, like play only for a couple minutes or even a quarter or two, then obviously I think the Suns will win. Maybe even less, maybe in 6. But
How many games? Okay, you say Bucks in 6, and then who's your Finals MVP?
Finals
Chris
MVP,
Middleton.
huh?
Speak Chris Middleton, right?
There's a better chance I'm Finals MVP than Chris Middleton.
It's cap.
Finals
You know
MVP
that.
would have to be Giannis if he had to come back from injury. But anyway, let's get back to the NFL
Hold
though.
on.
We'll go to the
Shows you
NFL.
how dead NFL is right now.
I mean, it really is. I mean, these are kind of the dog days of the NFL anyways. I mean, there hasn't really been any major trades. Aaron Rodgers drama has been going on for months now. And training camp not really started yet. I mean, it's just the dog days of the league right now. I mean, we're just waiting for this league to come by.
It doesn't get to like August. The league will pick up again.
Nothing much to really talk
June,
about in the
July,
league.
The league is dead.
Yeah, I mean,
But-
then you have to then the main thing that just starts to become like big roster spot cuts. Like some good veterans might get cut, stuff like that. But But as we were saying, Dan Snyder, like Roger Goodell, what else does he have to do in order to make you think sell the team? At least make a vote for the owners. At least that. I mean, if it fails, it fails. But you have to what is stopping owners from being this negligent to their team?
Funny. You even in other sports, you have well, obviously Dan Snyder.
You got James Dolan in
was
New
not
York.
there.
This is the first year they've been
James
decent.
Dolan in New York. Have the Glazers,
Oh, the Glazers in Manu. Yep.
and also kind of Tampa Bay a little bit, but they had success. Tampa.
Yeah, but mainly because of Tom Brady. Mainly because of Tom Brady. I mean, before that they were a
Also-
dumpster fire.
Two champions, Super Bowl champions. Two.
But it's just
That overall they've been a bad organization.
I really wish this Dan Snyder would just leave the football team and just please go, please.
Yeah, but real quick, you have to ask yourself one thing that Man United, the New York Knicks, and the Washington football team, what they all have in common is they had the most passionate fan bases, and they've all been alienated.
Mhm.
This owner, New York Knicks fans are still crazy. Remember what they were years
Yeah.
ago when they were successful? Wow. Man United running the league with Sir Alex Ferguson.
Greatest manager
They
ever.
had running England, so they were had a as a result they would have a great fan base. Washington, and before Snyder was became owner in like '99, '90s, '80s, '70s.
The 90s were late 80s, early 90s. Those were our years.
Yeah, they were our years, and we were having one of the best success.
And we were
across the
like
league.
we were the
Also had one of
first team.
greatest fan
Yeah.
bases.
And we were a good team. Like we had the first black quarterback to win a Super Bowl, and we had a great coach, Gibbs. I mean, we were a historic franchise, and now we've completely fallen off.
And then we're struggling to sell tickets. Remember, we had like $5 tickets for the Lions game.
I mean, it was also the
19.
Lions, to be fair, but
It is the Lions.
It's
But that's how bad
unexcusable.
we were. We
Yeah.
couldn't even sell tickets like that. Like
I
it
just
was
really hope
Detroit.
there's some type of way that Dan Snyder is
Yeah,
forced to sell the team, or just decides on his own to just cash out, because he's ruining the team. He's been ruining it for years. We need an
his own
entire new
reputation
change in the
has to.
team.
Yeah, but you also, I think, going back to like the tickets thing, I think it was more expensive to go to the zoo than to go to a football at the time Redskins game. Oh,
I mean,
it's crazy
that's just
how fast you can get derailed with bad organization
yep.
decisions.
Moving on though, other than moving on from Dan Snyder, we have N'Keal Harry, who said he wants to move out of New England and to pretty much any other team. So there's a couple things that this tells me. One, I remember last year when Cam Newton first got there, people were saying, "Oh man, N'Keal Harry, he might have a career rival. You know, he might live up to his billing." But Cam, that never really happened. Cam didn't throw for many touchdowns at all, and he also got hurt. Not hurt. He went out. He was out for COVID, and it just never seemed to connect.
Yeah, it didn't. Yeah, you're right. It never really connected. I mean, N'Keal Harry was actually a prospect that I was a fan of.
Mm-hmm.
Going into that draft, um, that was the year of DK Metcalf, um, McLaurin. So that was
AJ Brown.
AJ Brown. That was the 2019 draft. Yeah, that was 2019 draft. I think that was a great spot to go DK Metcalf for the Patriots.
Mm-hmm.
That scheme just kills receivers. Like, unless it's Randy Moss.
Wes
It's really
Welker.
based on systems
Other than those like
and
slot receivers like Edelman and Welker. I mean, there hasn't really been a true number one New England ever since Moss left. And you're right.
And like I remember when Mohamed Sanu got traded there,
Yep.
and people were going crazy because that was I think back when the Patriots. I think that was the week the Patriots were playing the Ravens and they got taken down. I think they were a little undefeated.
Maybe I do remember that people had high expectations for them, but it just I don't know what it is.
Like,
If you're not a small white receiver in New England, you just won't work.
You just have to look at how they run their offense. It's based on that. It's based on rotational running back by committee.
Mm-hmm.
So the focus is not really based on extravagant route running or deep threats. It's based on hitches, quick throws, quick slants. 'Cause Brady, in his heyday, was the hardest quarterback to sack, not because he was mobile, but because he threw the ball so quickly.
Yeah, that's true. He
It
wasn't
just
like Big
reads
Ben who would shrug him off. He would just release the ball so fast to his running backs or receivers, it would be almost impossible to bring him down.
Yeah. So I mean, unless you want to get that flag, let's go get that flag right from the passer. But
Yep.
it's impossible to get your hands on it because he throws the ball so quickly.
Mm-hmm.
And just sad how N'Keal Harry. I feel like he still has potential.
I believe
But-
so too. I feel like in the right system, he would be good. I mean, the thing is, where would he really go?
I mean, to me, he would have to go to a rebuilding team.
I don't know if I necessarily agree with that. I think if he were to go to a
have the
team,
pressure off of you.
that's true. But he could also go to a team that has a clear cut number one, or even like a solid two, and he could just slide as a three. Packers? I don't know, man. I feel like the Chargers might be a good fit.
I mean, it'd be kind of funny though if he does go to the Packers. I mean, how many people have been asking for them to draft a wide receiver
That's
first
true.
round? And they get him a first round bust.
That'd be the most
But-
Packers thing ever, but
That would.
that
But
would be. I mean,
I feel like
I could see
the
him.
Texans.
Yeah.
Think about it. If he goes to the
Texans.
Texans, he'll grow with Davis Mills. But you'll have Tyrod Taylor in the meantime. I feel like he's serviceable where he could like help you develop as a receiver.
I
Let the
guess,
pressure off
but
of you.
I mean, you could also just go to teams like I don't know, the Colts, the Chargers, like solid teams. I mean, for the Colts, they don't only have a clear cut number one. They're expecting Michael Pittman Jr. to make that jump. But I mean, he's young. You can train with him. You know, you can work with him. And then you can go to the Chargers, who've already got a really good number one, very underrated. He's one of the most underrated players in the Keenan Allen. He's your number one. Then you got Williams as your number two, and you can slide in right there. No one will really notice you. You can keep working, do your thing, and then it probably wouldn't take much to get him. Maybe a fourth or a fifth, something like that.
It's probably gonna be a 6. His value is really low.
Yeah.
I remember there was rumors with us trying to trade for him way earlier, offseason. That I don't know for sure if it was in the by the season deadline, but his value is depreciating by the second.
I think he will get traded though, because I think both sides, the Patriots and N'Keal Harry, they know it's not working out. The Patriots are like, might as well cut our loss, might as well get something in return. And Harry,
look how unsuccessful N'Keal Harry is, and he's the one who's asking for a trade. It shows you that bridge is potentially burned. So you just have to move on.
Yeah.
You have no choice. He's not working for you. You already got in free agency. You got Aguilar. You got Kendrick Bourne.
Yep.
Like, where's his role?
And then you also got Henry and Jonnu Smith. I mean, so many weapons, and you got James White coming back.
That offense is way overpriced.
It really is, but I mean, there's still weapons. There's still weapons that are going to play ahead of Harry.
There's no position for Harry.
Yep.
You just have to get him out of there.
Yeah, I agree. And I think that wraps up our NFL segment. There wasn't really much news, but we got to report what there is, and we can't really make up storylines. So that wraps up our NFL segment. Moving on to the Euros.